Hello everyone, I'm writer coach Tony, and tonight I'm going to discuss one of the most common questions I have about research, no? And that's how to avoid plagiarism. So, for all researchers, plagiarism is a major sin, no? So, bawal talaga siya. Um, um, because the goal of research is to teach students how to uh, be inquisitive, no? To investigate a problem. A problema lang when you do research, there's a part, yung literature review, um, pag tinatamad yung mga bata, they copy and paste. And because the technology now allows um, students to copy and paste immediately, uh, if the student is lazy, he will just do that. No, he or she will just do that. So, how to avoid plagiarism? Um, I think there are tools that you can use, no, to help you avoid plagiarism. One is the one I use is Thesaurus. No, when we were growing up, we have a book called the Thesaurus, but nowadays you can just go to thesaurus.com, or you can go to Google. No? You just Google what's the synonym of this word. No, so um, that's one way of not using the same words as the source you're using. No, so you use the Thesaurus. So, pag hindi alam yung spelling, Thesaurus, T-H-E-S-A-U, R-U-S, the Thesaurus. So, the goal of the Thesaurus is for you to look for a synonym of the word you want that was used in the literature you are reading. Okay? Next, so meron ka ng Thesaurus. Next, you can use Grammarly. No? I use Grammarly. It's a software which allows you to make your writing more elegant. Um, you do that na after you've written everything. No? Let's say if you've done this chapter, the goal of Grammarly is to find out meron siyang plagiarism software. Yun lang, it's not as powerful as Turnitin. So what you can do is, Turnitin kasi once you've used it, you cannot reuse it because it will come out, no, and it might um, jeopardize your paper. So you only use it once. Grammarly allows you to check for plagiarism, and then it will tell the teacher, or it will tell you which parts you just copied and pasted. No, it's a bit strict as well. So if you're a bit lazy and just copy pasted, it's good if you use Grammarly to find out which parts you have to reword. You have to reword it. Otherwise, if the teacher catches you plagiarizing, um, you might earn demerits, and you might even be kicked out of the school, which is not good. No? Because plagiarism is stealing someone's idea, and the reason why we're teaching you how to research is for you to come up with your original ideas, and for you to be rigorous in your research, not just regurgitating what other people have already done. No? So that's really the goal. That's why we don't want you to plagiarize. Okay. Um, okay. So that's one, the Thesaurus. The other one is the Grammarly. If you have it, it will teach you elegance in writing. No? So, how do I go about me? No, when I when I do research, how do I go about it that I don't plagiarize? Um, I suggest you read first, no? And then you say it in your own words. Okay, how would the teacher know that you're plagiarizing? For example, your English is not so good, and then you submit a word which is almost perfect English, and you have highfalutin words. No, you're using very difficult words. The teacher would be would that's a red flag for the teacher. No, especially if they know, like us, we're Filipinos, English is not our first language, so the teacher would know. It would be a red flag for the teacher if the work is too elegant. No, so um, the level of vocabulary might give you away. Unless, of course, the teacher knows that you're an honor student, you're very good in English, then he or she sees that you're using very, very difficult words, he or she might give you a leeway. But be careful, ha? Kasi if you really plagiarized it, as I told you, there's Grammarly, and I'm sure there are now other ways for teachers to check digitally if a work is plagiarized. Another way I do as a teacher, if let's say there's a sentence, let's say 2 lines are medyo suspect, no? So 2 lines which are suspect, what I do, I copy paste it, I put it in Google. 99% of the time, if it's copied and pasted, it will come out in Google. So be careful. What I do, if I do that, if I see that, I usually highlight it and then meet the student. But of course, only in sentences which are suspect, no? Since teachers like me, I've been doing research for almost 20 years. I would have an instinct if the student is plagiarizing or not, because especially if you know the background of the student. So if you're the student and you're not really the you know that your English sucks, the teacher will immediately know if you plagiarize. So please do not do that. No, just say it in your own words. If your vocabulary is not so big, then that's why there's a thesaurus. No, you choose words which you understand. I would rather give a high score to a student who did his work on his own than someone who just copied and pasted. No? And then if you get caught pa, usually I'm lenient. First draft, if there are parts that are plagiarized, let's say 40%. Well, that's very high, no? Kasi dapat at most only up to, even for me 10% is still high, but that's my threshold. It should be at least 10% or lower. So for example, in an essay of 3,000 words, 300 words are copied. That's passing already, but sometimes I even get stricter because 300 words is 1 page. So that's still lazy, no? As much as possible, the plagiarism score of the student has to be very low. So if you're the teacher, how do you do that? It would be advisable if you have writing, if you let the students write in school, no, so that you'll see if they're really doing their work, rather than if they do it at home and then they just copy and paste, no. So in other words, you have to see the progress of their work. So let's say for today, guys, I want to see your first 500 words. So it's a bit tiring, but what you can do is you can just select. You can do it randomly, no? Like for this day, you do these 10 students, no? Next meeting, you do another 10 students. So you just do it randomly, no? And what's good is usually the smarter ones, you can just leave them alone because they're very disciplined already, no? Especially those who are running for honors, no? They're disciplined already. You're assured, like 99% of the time, they'll be doing the work. So you can have time now to focus on the slower ones, okay? So you have to teach them how to use the thesaurus. You have to teach them how to use Grammarly, and then you have to teach them how to summarize what they've read. No, just read through it, and then let them talk about it in their own words. No, and then tell them that it's not really you're after the quality of the analysis. Like for me, even if you only like put 2 or 3 words, if sentences, if the analysis is straight to the point, you'll get a higher score, no? Rather than someone who will give you a really long essay but has no point, he or she won't get a high score. The idea is, since most of the students, English is not their first language, you have to be a bit more lenient with them. So you focus more on other skills like analysis skills, which is more important for me, no? But if your student can analyze and then can also write in elegant English, then fantastic. They'll get the highest scores. So I hope that helped you on how to stop plagiarizing. No, not my thesaurus. You should have a thesaurus. You should have Grammarly, and then another thing another technique I use is if you remember your English class, you have active, and then passive. You can also do that, no? For example, I um, I ate banana Q today. So that's what the sentence in your text, in your research text said. In your research, when you write it down, you can flip it. You make it passive, no? Um, the ice cream was eaten by Jake. No, you use your name or something, no? Um, so if it's active, you convert it to passive. If it's passive, you convert it to active. No? That's another way of making it not look plagiarized, because um, the plagiarism software will check it by if it's word for word. So if there are like 4 or 5 words already that you stick together, the software will catch it, and that's already plagiarism. So as much as possible, um, what I do now is I just read through the text, and then I talk to myself, using my own words. So that works better, it's difficult, but um, research is a discipline. It will teach you to express yourself better in your own words. So um, I urge you not to plagiarize. It's a big crime, especially if you're in school. No, it's an academic crime. So you might get kicked out, and it's not worth it. I tell you, most teachers um, would pardon you with if your work is not so elegant, as long as it's you who did it. No? And then anyway, the teachers would know if your English is good or not. So you cannot cheat them that way by presenting them a work which is perfect English when they know naman you cannot even speak in straight English. No? So don't try to fool your teachers. They have ways of finding out whether you plagiarized your work or not. So stay on the safe side, stay in school, and make sure you graduate. No? So because usually the research work is for senior high school students. No? Those so it's a prerequisite to graduation. So make sure you don't make the mistake of plagiarizing. Okay, so with that, if you have any questions, first of all, please subscribe to my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram. And then please subscribe to my channel. If you want to learn something more about research writing, please feel free. My numbers are down there in the description. You can WhatsApp me, you can Viber me, or you can email me. Thank you very much, everyone. Take care, keep safe. Good night.